Hey everyone! Welcome back to our channel. Tonight, something unexpected happened beneath the quiet Seoul skyline. Before we dive into the secret steps that unfolded in the dark, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss moments like this again. Now, let me take you into a story whispered only by the city lights. A night when Nam Ji-hyun and Chang Wook slipped out unnoticed, or at least, they tried to. Seoul at midnight is a universe of its own: soft neon, distant sirens, alleys that breathe in and out like sleeping giants. And somewhere within those shadows, two familiar figures stepped quietly beyond the glow of the street lamps. They moved separately at first, one exiting a cafe, the other a rehearsal studio a block away. But both carried the same hush in their footsteps. The same spark of anticipation beneath their masks and hoodies. Fate has a funny way of pretending it's subtle. At an empty crosswalk, the red light flickered. And for a moment, time paused. Just long enough for Chang Wook to glance up and lock eyes with Nam Ji-hyun through the faint reflection of a bus stop ad. It looked accidental. But the way they both smiled beneath their masks said otherwise. They didn't wave. They didn't speak. But they walked toward the same quiet side street, as though they'd rehearsed it 1,000 times. The street they chose was narrow, half-lit by a flickering sign, half-swallowed in dark watercolor shadows. A perfect hiding place from curious eyes. Ji-hyun walked ahead, hands tucked into her coat pockets, while Chang Wook followed at a comfortable distance. Far enough to avoid suspicion. Close enough to protect a secret they both shared. When she slowed, he slowed. When she glanced at the empty windows above, he did too. And when she murmured something too soft for the world to hear, his answer was nothing but a warm, breathy laugh. They stopped beneath a street lamp that buzzed like a sleepy firefly. Not a soul passed by. The city, as if complicit, muted itself. Only then did they remove their masks. Just for a moment. Her smile appeared first, bright but shy, followed by his, tired from the day but undeniably warm. No cameras. No staff. No scripts. Just two co-stars sharing a stolen minute beneath the midnight sky. Whatever they said to each other wove itself into the noise of the night. Words carried away by wind. Protected by shadows. Claimed only by their hearts. Maybe they laughed about old scenes. Maybe they whispered inside jokes from set. Maybe they simply said, "It's been a long day. I'm glad you're here." Whatever it was, it made both of them lean slightly closer than friends usually do. A taxi passed by, headlights sweeping across the pavement like a spotlight. And instinctively, Chang Wook stepped in front of Ji-hyun, shielding her from the brief glare. She blinked up at him, surprised. He shrugged it off, playful. But the gesture lingered long after the taxi turned the corner. If anyone had seen them at that exact second, headlines would have written themselves. After a quiet minute, they pulled their masks back on. The uniform of anonymity. Ji-hyun tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. And Chang Wook adjusted his cap like a man returning to reality. They didn't walk off together. Of course not. He stepped left. She stepped right. But 5 seconds later, they glanced back at the same time. Tonight wasn't about paparazzi, rumors, or gossip. It was about two people finding a sliver of peace in a world that constantly watches. Whether it meant something more than friendship, well, only they know. But the way the night wrapped around them felt like a promise whispered just for two. But the night wasn't done with them yet. As Ji-hyun walked down the narrow alley leading toward the main road, a gust of wind stirred the fallen leaves at her feet. And she paused, sensing something. Not danger, no. Just the faint echo of someone's footsteps matching her rhythm a block behind. Then, almost too perfectly, Chang Wook slowed his pace too. Neither looked back. Neither needed to. Some connections don't require confirmation. They simply exist, quietly, faithfully, stubbornly. Hyun reached the small bus stop tucked between two sleeping restaurants. The overhead light flickered like an old memory, casting soft shadows that swayed across the pavement. She sat on the bench, pretending to scroll her phone. But her eyes kept lifting toward the empty street. As if waiting. As if hoping. And in the distance, a silhouette approached, calm, unhurried, familiar. He didn't sit beside her. Not at first. He simply stood near the far end of the shelter, hands in pockets, keeping just enough distance to remain discreet. But the space between them felt like a line drawn only for show. It was almost comical. Two co-stars pretending they didn't know each other at a bus stop past midnight. Her mask hid her smile, but her eyes curved in that telltale way that betrayed her. His posture softened, shoulders relaxing. A quiet message only she could understand. No words. Just shared silence. The kind that speaks louder than conversation. And somewhere above, the city cameras blinked asleep. Missing a moment millions would have replayed endlessly. The bus rolled into view with a low hum, its headlights sweeping across the empty street like liquid gold. Hyun stood first, adjusting her scarf. Chang Wook waited. Not too close, not too far. But right in that perfect space where care hides itself behind coincidence. When the doors hissed open, she stepped inside without looking back. But the second she chose a seat, she did. Just once. But right in that perfect space where care hides itself behind coincidence. When the doors hissed open, she stepped inside without looking back. Chang Wook boarded the same bus. He didn't need to. He absolutely shouldn't have. But he did. He tapped his card with a casualness he didn't feel, pretending to scan for an empty seat. There were plenty. Rows of them. Yet he chose the 1-3 seats behind her. Close enough to watch her reflection in the window. Far enough to convince any onlooker it meant nothing. But the night knew the truth. The bus knew the truth. And she couldn't stop herself from smiling at the glass. As though the city outside had suddenly become more beautiful. And that's the story of how Nam Hyun and Chang Wook quietly slipped out into the night. Not for cameras. Not for fans. But simply for a moment that belonged entirely to them. If you want more stories, more moments, and more midnight secrets, you know what to do. I'll be waiting.